Great crowd here today at Class of 1952 Stadium in Princeton, New Jersey, and we are about to get underway. It'll be Matt Constantinides taking the face-off for Towson, Andrew McMeekin for Princeton, and Princeton wins possession first. Here's Kabiri, we talked about in the open. He can score goals, and he can feed to goal scorers from X. Bonanno gets it to Wade, takes another step to the middle of the field, gets his hands free and scores.
With all the slick sticks, 19 in white. It's a little bit of an outlier. Watch the left-handed plant foot right here. How that creates so much space and increases his angle tenfold. Tucker Wade plants that left foot, gets the defender to bite. It's turn and rake for Towson.
36 in white. Dunphy has an angle, he shoots and scores. A dream start for the Princeton Tigers.
Dunphy being ultra aggressive, going to the rack, has struggled finding the back of the net, under 15% this season. He got away with one though, he lands in the goal mouth. I'd be shocked if Sean Nadelin doesn't challenge it.
With the 80. Good call by our officiating crew upon review.
Defending players. I think Molshine's one of the most underrated defenders in the country.
Nice pick off by Jackson Green, and here he comes. He can fly. Still has it. Does a nice job to keep possession. Gets it to Burns. Burns to Kabiri.
You see that speed by Green? It's a wide receiver on the Princeton football team. That's what you call a punt return clear. End to end.
Bonanno. Nice adjustment by Kabiri. Wade gets it back to his right nicely and scores.
Princeton faithful loves it on a gorgeous day in central New Jersey. Starts with defense. Jackson Green with the pick. And then Tucker Wade once again gets his second of the afternoon. He's different than every other player where you see a lot of the slick wing players using picks. Tucker Wade doesn't need a pick.
Constantinides gets it into his teammate's stick. And that's something that Towson is going to have to do a lot of today. That's Schreier. Didn't have much of a look, but Boswell gets it. Vienny looking to dodge on the shorty. Shoots, saved by Croddick. Right back into Boswell's stick, though. Can he do anything with it? And a lot of traffic. It's back down on the turf and picked up by Spies. Kabiri got his defender hung up. Now his defender comes around. Goalie comes out to meet him as well. Great pass inside. Can't do anything with it. Feed inside, behind the back, save made by Downs. Wade steps into it, fires. Downs again is there. And a big ground ball.
Two huge stops by Downs. If a goalie, you're thinking low again. He goes high and beautiful stop.
Chop Gallagher putting his back into the defender. Trying to roll to his left. Beautiful job with the double team. Princeton, and they come out of there with it again. Spies with a GB. But he turns it over almost in midfield, and it looks like he's going to anyways as it rolls past two defenders.
The two-handedness allows you to have the ability to escape those double teams a little easier.
That's Gallagher. Got an interesting midfield when you think about it. Chop Gallagher from Portland and Bodie Maurer from Kirkland, Washington, just outside the Seattle area. How about Croddick? He's gotten off to a strong start this afternoon. Mackesy, after the defense recovers, couldn't get it on Cage. Burns trying to pick up the shot near the end line. Great ground ball by Towson. That's Joe Petro. Battled near the end line forward. Now can they keep possession? They'll be able to clear it.
Petro's the best ground ball guy. He's had an amazing season. First team all-conference, 40 in black.
Second midfield unit getting a lot of run here for Coach Nadal, and that's Matusek. Croddick is there, though, shuts the door.
Seems like Towson's getting some decent looks, but not able to close the deal. Like right there, I thought there could have been another extra step to increase the angle. You got something here, Cotter.
On the move, shot, score! Matusek puts the Tigers on the board. They've got a nice crowd here that's made the trip from Baltimore.
Matusek, if it doesn't work the first time, try again. It's a scramble, a blown clear by the Princeton Tigers. He takes it all alone. Do not tell Towson they don't have a shot. They're fighting. Unbelievable build by Bill Tierney, because before 1992, to be quite honest with you, they were at the basement of the Ivy League.
Nobody had ever even heard of Princeton lacrosse, and then they were stacking championships with Bill Tierney. 1,000 career face-off wins for Matt Constantinides. Congratulations, he has had a heck of a career, and now he's got his Towson team with a little momentum here in this game. Schreier. Gets it over to Maurer. Maurer working on the shorty. Gallagher shoots right into the stick of Croddick. Once again, Jackson Green. Final minute of this first period. Nate Kabiri's working on the shorty. Joe Meidling, probably their best short stick team midi, but he's got his hands full here. Now the help comes. Mackesy shoots and scores! That's the record breaker.
'91. You're all alone at the top. The best to ever do it in terms of hitting the back of the net in this storied program's history. That's 164 vintage Coulter Mackesy form. Those two.
What a connection.
Yeah, what a connection. If anyone could make that pass to him, I think that's who he would have chosen.
Kabiri taking advantage of the fact that he had a shorty on him. He was able to find 91 with some space. Oh, what a score on the goal, on the run by Colin Burns. Burns says, all right, 91, you're getting involved in the action. Let me get some myself.
We talk about a connection with Kabiri and Mackesy. How about the connection with Burns and Kabiri? High school teammates, both sophomores, 2-year starters. I love Kabiri's vision today. He's finding seams and understands where his teammates are going to be.
Schreier. Here's Fitzpatrick. Princeton looks buttoned up defensively. They do have an extra defender out there, so it certainly would appear that way. Weishauer fires at lefty. Tried to fool Croddick with the bouncer. Nothing doing. Now let's get the call. That's Weishauer. Fitzpatrick. That's Mitchell Katz, 53, man-up specialist for Towson. They get it inside to him, and he finishes.
When we had a conversation with Sean Nadalin this week, I mentioned Mikey Weishauer's passing, because on tape it's so snappy and the release is lightning and it gets to the backside. Look at that pass, how he threads it to the backside. For Katz is just sitting there knowing that you have to be prepared when you have an elite passer at the top portion of the extra man.
McMeekin runs it down. I mean, 32 in white is a physical specimen.
Oh yeah, he's on the Cotter list, right? You're gonna do a tour one year of going to all the different lacrosse schools in the weight room and find those warriors. He's one of them.
Although his efforts go for naught, is another turnover for Princeton. Towson's getting opportunities because Princeton keeps giving him the ball in the middle of the field. It's good hustle by Ronan Fitzpatrick. Looking to play a little two-man game here with Vienny. Instead, he comes upfield. Spies is all over him. He gets a shot off, though, and scores. Just gets by Croddick.
I always like to describe a lefty goal line extended type shooter as a player that can get a shot off without a clean break. It's timing the checks. Look how Fitzpatrick times these checks. Once he understands that he has some freedom with his hands, it's go time.
You talk about the PLL and some of the players that Towson has put into that league, the Colby Bars, Colby Smith, Zach Goodrich, Alex Woodall, who you mentioned, Ryan Drenner, who we just saw. It's been a pipe.
Great pros, great pros.
That one out of bounds. Yeah, the official right on it. Almost forcing the turnover.
He's got to get rid of that quicker. He had Bonanno parked on that lower left side by the pipe.
Burns, good look inside, but Palumbo couldn't finish it. Wade can.
He's got a hat trick. Sophomore sensation, Tucker Wade. This is his third goal. That was a beautiful initial pass by Burns. Wade picks it up. One thing about Wade is when you watch him and try to scout him, there's really no tendencies in his shot. There's no pattern in his game, which is a great compliment.
First shot taken by Princeton here in this second quarter, and it finds the back of the net. But we have certainly seen this Princeton offense look sharp. Kabiri now. Mackesy from X. Dunphy could pass inside. Saris can't beat Downs.
That's a big one.
So is this. Burns, look at that ride. Forcing the turnover. Trouble here. Downs makes the save, though, as Mackesy gets dumped.
Here's Mackesy.
Legal hit anyways.
He loses the helmet. I mean, that's just unfortunate. What's he supposed to do there? The rule is intended so players have their helmets
securely
fastened. So the helmet is put on tight and does not fall off due to a hit.
32nd man up for Towson. Here's Katz again. He scored on the last man up. Good look inside. They get another one here. Chop! And it's once again a one-goal advantage for Princeton. Towson is just hanging in there here in the first half.
When the helmet fell off, Towson possesses the ball, so it's a 30-second penalty. And once again, it's the beautiful dime-like pass by Mikey Weishauer to the senior all-conference player, Chop Gallagher. I like how Chop kept his shoulders high and his head high. The top of your stick moves faster. It's harder for the goalie to react. I love how he did that.
Meekin wins another. Now, can they do anything with the possession? That's been their issue.
They're in a zone defense now, mixing it up, Nadalin, giving his team a little breather and a different look for the Princeton offense to deal with the zone.
Hit the pipe. Right to Morin, and he'll clear it himself. Schreier to the goal, tough angle. I think he hit the pipe as well.
This is the marquee matchup.
There's Boswell. On Miller. Good swim move, and a goal! Vienny beats Krodek. We're all knotted up at 5.
What? That's what he's saying. What now? Only his 8th of the season. That is great recognition on the pick and roll, and then the swim move. This is a gorgeous move. Gets the defender to bite. Whoop! Right back to the middle of the field to increase the angle.
Race for it. You're not going to beat Green on a race like that. Now what's the call? Going to go against Princeton. Bonanno gets it back. Looking to skip, but no one was open. Just probing here. Palumbo. Wade shoots and scores. Good ball movement.
That's the thing with the zone defense. Princeton will be patient enough to find the right shot, to create seams in this Towson defense. And that is an outstanding one more pass by Bonanno, who might have had a shot, but he knew when he kicked it back to the top, that's the look they wanted.
Tough, although he can hit that shot. He can hit a shot from below goal line extended, as we saw in that piece you did with him.
Yeah, his shooting is ridiculous. There's no such thing as no angle.
Good pass to Dunphy. There's that one extra one. And he finds a corner. It's Sean Cameron. Looks like that's the blueprint here to beat this zone, Card.
Remember when I told you I liked zone for a couple possessions, but not long term against Princeton because of the ball movement, the selflessness, and the one more. That's 2 goals in a row from the same exact spot. They are finding the sweet spot. They're attacking from below goal line extended, kicking to the wing, and then the one more. They're back in man. This is the right call.
Palumbo trying to get things going against the short. That's a good look, and Burns finishes.
So much interchanging with the offense. Palumbo is a midfielder, but he loves to attack from behind and maximize the short stick matchups because he knows a slide's coming.
They won the Patriot by winning 3 games in a 5-day stretch. Another face-off win. And another goal. Kabiri.
This is his spot. And what I love so much, a lot like Coulter Mackesy, from this same spot I've seen 3-quarter releases, I've seen underhands, and I've seen direct over the tops like this rip. Nate Kabiri, some of the smoothest hands in college lacrosse, just pounds that opposite corner. On a right-handed goalie, where do you want to shoot? Win it out front in McMeekin. Time, room, some bullseye.
23, this is what
we saw that last week. We saw that last week. They went on an 8-1 run against Cornell. Now, the flip side is they allow some runs too. Cornell went on a 4-1 run in that game and a 10-1 run. So Towson is not out.
Yeah, we saw it even earlier today with Towson. They scored 3 out of 4. That's Fitzpatrick right there. On Spiess, who's just covered him like a glove all day long. Tried to sneak that one in the far corner.
You know, Spiess is much bigger than Fitzpatrick.
6'2", 200 pounds.
Fitzpatrick's 165, but he's not getting thrown around at all on goal line.
Here he comes again upfield. This time he shoots and scores. This time, carbon copy, but he was able to beat Craddock on that shot.
6'2", 200, matching up against 5'11", a $165, soaking wet. But he wins the leverage game here. Does such a good job of putting that right elbow in. Watch the right elbow. The right elbow kind of chicken wings his way past Spiess and just increases his angle.
Talk about runs. Can Towson put one together? McMeekin wants to ensure that they don't. He'll shoot and score!
I'm seeing all this unfold before my very eyes. The last goal for Princeton was McMeekin out front to Kabiri. So right now, Towson's too concerned with the point man. They don't go to McMeekin. So he makes them pay. Because the prior time he kicked it to Kabiri because they slid and stopped his.
Again, working on Spiess. Got by him and scored!
You and I cover the PLL in the summer, and we covered Connor Fields when he was at Albany. About the same weight, 165 pounds, and you constantly ask, why is he winning bully ball? They lull defenders to sleep. They want defenders. Fitzpatrick wants Spiess to get really physical, and then he times the pushes.
Quickly to Wade, he's been the offensive star and a half of offensive stars for Princeton. He's got 4 goals, 19 in white. Kabiri steps into it, bounces it home.
We talk about sharpshooters. When he got the pass from McMeekin, it was a high release to a high shot. This time it's a high release to a bouncer from almost the same exact release point. But at the last second, he changes the levels. Nate Kabiri and Coulter Mackesy, that's the dude on the right wing who just absolutely crushes it.
McMeekin, this time the extra pass, and Downs makes the save.
Can own a matchup, and they use the two of them in the pick game.
Molshine back on him though, up top, on the run. Couldn't get much on it. Croddick with the save. Now, can Princeton strike early? They cannot. They turn it over again. Towson with just a few seconds.
Got to push.
Shot deflected off of Green, and that'll be it. You can see Constantinides just 3 of 17 on the day. It has been a struggle for the Towson faceoff man, and just as I say that, they win possession here to start this second half. That's going to be it, and it's a turnover, man. Now it's their turn. That quick, precise ball movement really hurt this zone in the first half for Princeton. There it is again. Tic-tac-toe passing, and the freshman Peter Bonanno puts it home for the Princeton Tigers, their largest lead of the day now, 5 goals.
I don't love zone against this team. They specialize in hot potato. The ball flies out of sticks. They love assisted goals. So you allow Mackesy just stand back there, uncontested. I would have liked to see him come out and man and then sprinkle in zone at like one possession at a time, not multiple possessions in a row, or starting the second half in zone, because they were expecting zone.
Right. Fitzpatrick wraps it around. He continues his hot play from the first half. Gets one back for Towson.
This kid is money. Absolute flair. What a move by Ronan Fitzpatrick. His ability to get to the rack, you know him as a lefty, so he keeps it in his strong hand with that shovel shot. Who's the conference player of the year, one of the best offensive players in the country, so they're trying multiple defenders on Fitzpatrick, and no one can stop him.
All 4 of his goals have been unassisted on the day. And this has been a very typical happenstance here in the middle of the field. Somebody wins the face-off, but then it's nearly turned over. In this particular case, Princeton was able to pick up the GB. 12 to shoot. Dunphy. Mackesy is going to have to make it happen on his own. Has no angle. Kabiri shoots. That's enough of an angle for him. Just as the shot clock was winding down.
Ouch! How about the accuracy? The ball movement to understand where your shooters are. Mackesy holds on to that ball for another beat because he gets the defense kind of guessing. Wow! Are you kidding me?
Great camera work by our crew as well.
Yes, Nate! That's a team you don't want to zone, right? Like, they're giving you every reason why you don't want to zone a team that has sharpshooters. Like, dare them to beat you. Yeah, Tucker Wade beat you off the dribble.
Croddick, too good. Look at the quick outlet, Miller. He shows his speed. He lets it rip and scores!
Starts with a save. Jackson Green showed you a punt return clear earlier in this game. Now it's Cooper Miller's time. Muller just flies out. That's confidence of goalie too. Like, you know that your goalie's gonna make that save and you fly out at the same time. They're short stick D middies. They're bringing it.
And Towson in a little bit of trouble here. This is a dangerous moment in this game. They're still within striking distance, but they can get out of it in a hurry. Weishauer's been completely held in check until now. He's got to get going somehow, some way, Clark.
He has as a passer in the first half. Now He's creating with his own offense off the dribble. This is a big-time move by Mikey Weishauer. And this is why you can't put anyone else on him. That's their top defender. His first 2 years at Towson, he was a middie in high school. They put him at attack early in the season after the Navy loss to give this unit some pop and combine him with Fitzpatrick. But allowing him to sweep up top, like that's his natural habitat.
Yenny gets free. He scores! Here come the Towson Tigers.
This is what I was talking about. Princeton has allowed teams to go on some runs. First it's Weishauer, now it's Vienny, and Vienny's had a couple of nice takes today for goals. Look at the placement against Croddick. Just beats Croddick to that lower corner with some heat and
McMeekin wants to right the ship, but Constantinides isn't going to let him do it. He'll take a shot, almost got it off. Thought he was going to go right to the doorstep, Clark, but he's able to keep possession. Weishauer, the quickness. Trying to get it back into his left, but Molshine is having none of it. Now he does. Saved by Croddick. Here comes Green. Kabiri got his defender hung up again, so he's looking for a cutter. Palumbo. You can see the help coming. He loses it, gets it back. Beautiful pass to Kabiri on the far side, and he buries it. Palumbo turning near disaster into magic.
Cotter, follow me here. You would think this is Mackessy's spot, but what Jim Mitchell does a lot of times is he flips Mackessy and Kabiri. This is a natural spot for a lefty because of the increased angle, but it doesn't matter when you're that big of a sharpshooter with the stick to their outside. So Mackessy, when he's flipped to the left, sometimes he can dodge down the alley lefty with the stick to his outside, and Kabiri, if he catches that high enough, he goes down the alley with his right hand.
But Mackessy tracks it down.
Yep, that's the slickness, right? The BTBs. I think of Princeton and Syracuse as two of the slicker teams in the country in terms of that type of play. The two-man game, the slips, and the BTBs.
Look at this shot from Burns. Look where this thing ends up. Near side corner.
This is a shooting clinic. This is an absolute shooting clinic by the boys in white. Kabiri, one after another. His high school teammate, Colin Burns, they call him Barbecue. He is sizzling.
And the lead is back up to 6 for Princeton midway through this third quarter. Princeton wanted a hold. The fans didn't get it, but McMeekin gets possession anyways. Now the hold is going to go against Princeton. Weber backs into his defender. Now Chop Gallagher. Weishauer couldn't handle it. He gives chase and tracks it down. He tries to shovel it by Croddick, can't do it, but Fitzpatrick was there, couldn't pick up the GB though. Physical play in the defensive end, picked up by Spies now.
It's the right intent of Towson to move Weishauer around.
Shovels it inside. Bonanno didn't have much of an angle, so he takes it back out. Draws a slide. Mackessy coming upfield.
There's the pick.
Uses a Burns pick, now gets it back to Burns. The one extra pass. Downs was there for the save.
That is gorgeous offense, though. So Mackessy uses the pick. They switch, and they're late to cover the pick man, who's Burns, and then Burns catches it, and then the one more, just unfortunate.
Moore lets it fly, the bouncer. Croddick gets enough of it. Loose ball in front, Weishauer was able to grab it. Championship weekend in Foxborough, got to get by the two-time defending champs first, though. That's a great look. Unfortunately, Schreier couldn't squeeze it.
And there's something bigger also in Ohio State. It's called the Big Tasty. Leads the nation in save percentage.
Fyock in goal.
296 pounds, rapid fire hands. Here's the thing that's crazy about the Big Tasty. If the season ended right now, this is the best save percentage of a goalie since 2022.
His numbers have been ridiculous, and he's done it all year. This is trouble right here, and it's going to be a goal. Princeton broke down Towson on their clear, and Burns, it was easy sailing. He beats Downs, and you get the feeling here, Kark, with the lead up to 7, the largest of the day for Princeton on their home field with this home crowd. They're starting to taste it late in the third quarter.
Burns does a fantastic job knowing that his defender is trying to stop the ball on the clear, and then he backdoors at the same time.
Palumbo gets under his defender and scores.
He's been quiet, right?
Yeah. Now it's like the good old-fashioned turkey shoot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they're feasting.
This is what I love about Palumbo. And Cotter, you mentioned, like, that's a typical box lacrosse goal, right? Little face dodge underneath, not even have to put the stick in your opposite hand because of how quick the release is off of that face dodge.
(18-10) is our score. McMeekin, he just continues his domination, although this is what we saw a lot in the first half. Fortunately for Princeton, it's able to be tracked down by Friedman.
Struggled in spots earlier in the season. They were clean the most of the second half, other than that Cornell game when they let up 20 last week, but this team's figuring it out.
That guy's figured it out all game long, and it continues late in the going here in the third. Yet another one for Tucker Wade. And that's the most goals given up by Towson this season, and we haven't even gotten to the fourth quarter yet.
Tucker Wade with his 5th of the day. We saw him earlier in the afternoon winning his matchup. Now he's spraying from deep. Mackesy, the dime of a pass.
Good to see that. Dunphy, look at that. Dodge. Mackesy unloads it wide. Final 8 seconds here this third. Cameron, final few seconds. He'll get a look, and he'll score!
It's like these offensive players watch one guy hit a corner and they say to themselves, oh, you think you're the only guy who could do that? Started with Coulter Mackesy when he got the record 164th goal, all-time leading goal scorer Princeton history. Then Kabiri started hammering corners. Colin Burns, and now Cameron.
Man, pretty amazing that Carson Kramer was able to keep possession that time, 21 in white.
He's a monster. 6'5", 245. Kirkland, Washington. Played on the second midfield a bunch this year.
Kabiri plays on the first attack line, and he shows you why there. That's 5 on the day, matching Wade's 5. Leading goal scorers for Princeton.
Watch this move. Watch how he extends his arms out and then shoots all in one.
Constantinides wins the faceoff, gets it to Weishar. Quickly to Schreier. Boswell. Swims it back to his left. Vieni with a nice catch. Fitzpatrick backing up, 28 seconds. Still on the shot clock for Towson.
Well, Jackson Green is one of those two-sport athletes playing football in college, playing lacrosse, and then dealing with the academics at Princeton. All right, 4 and white he's a stud.
Weishar finds the far post.
We're talking a lot about these seniors who are going off to the PLL and were drafted this past Tuesday. I think Mikey Weishar will be a first-round draft pick next year in the PLL. Knows where to find passing lanes and doesn't even just knock them down, can catch them on the fly.
Dunphy. Back to Burns, far side to Kabiri. Princeton swings it around. Cameron on the run, scores. That goal ties the most goals scored in an NCAA tournament game by Princeton.
Cotter, since The 5:35 mark of the second quarter. Princeton is shooting 17 for 20. And this time he does it lefty on the run. You talk about shooting versatility of Kabiri and guys like Burns. Well, add Cameron to the mix.
And if you like the goals you're getting in this game, if it's Princeton and Syracuse, buckle up, because we're going to get a lot in that one too, out on the island.
Yeah, Harvard could score as well. I mean, Harvard is...
That lights up the fans here for Towson. Some of their players are getting involved. Connor Sline finds the back of the net. Good to see these guys who practice all year long, Kark, backups, get a chance to play in an NCAA tournament game. Quinn Kramer saw his brother Carson, 21. Quinn, number 20. Chop Gallagher. Save made. Croddick's still in there for Princeton. You got to think he might be able to be replaced.
And when this happens, it validates a young boy's dream, right? Like, if this guy could do it, I can.
Right.
So if you're a kid from Alabama, you see Anderson Moore, who's the starting goalie for Georgetown. You see him tonight in the nightcap against Duke. It can happen. Anderson started as a true freshman for Kevin Warren.
Yeah. It's the outside of the cage. You get good coaches in those areas, like Zilberti going to Atlanta and getting a lot of young kids to believe that they can be great.
Yep. And a Scott Ratliff who comes back home to Georgia.
The Pons brothers. Slide comes. He's met by a long pole. Now to Saris again. Bonanno has really come on, this freshman, in the second half of the season. Save made. Nice job by Downs. Downs still hanging in there. And you have an entire week off before you play next. So you can recover a little bit. It's not like conference tournament time when you're playing 2 and sometimes 3 games in a short stretch.
Molshine's still on Weishauer.
Yes.
He's saying, well, as long as you're in the game, I'm in the game. The players on the team and even some of the alum, like John Hess. He's a legend on that three-peat, 96, 97, 98. Lives in the same general area as Molshine, especially in the fourth quarter. I mean, Harvard will give them everything that they could handle.
And in that last game in the semifinals of the Ivy League tournament, Sam King really didn't do much for Harvard. So you got to expect that's not going to continue again.
Who guarded him? Colin Molshine. Colin Molshine held Sam King in 2 games to 1 goal and 2 assists combined in 2 games. And Sam King was one of the most prolific scorers in the country. Molshine.
That'll be Georgetown at Duke. That should be a pretty good one.
Oh, yeah. Colgate, Penn State could be high scoring. Duke, Georgetown, an interesting storyline too. Vickery,
2
whoa.
saves. How about that? Cold off the bench.
Yeah, that's not easy. No warm-up. Trevor Tierney was a national goaltender of the year. They know goaltending.
Vickery has 3 saves to his credit. Those last 2, man down. Now we're at full strength. Final 2 minutes of this contest.
But tonight, what will be interesting, Duke and Georgetown.
That could be a slugfest right on the doorstep. Vickery with another save. Crowd on their feet here in class of 1952 Stadium in Princeton. Their Tigers get the win over the Tigers from Towson and advance to next weekend's quarterfinal, where they will head to Hempstead, New York, to take on the winner of Syracuse and Harvard, who will play in their first round game tomorrow.